What if I told you that the next few minutes could completely transform your understanding of life, purpose, and true success? This isn't just another motivational speech or a quick fix promise. No, what I'm about to share goes deeper than that. It's a message that resonates in the very core of our being, a truth that's been whispered through the ages. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This message, it's not for everyone. In fact, if you're perfectly content with the status quo, if you've never felt that nagging sense that there's something more to life than what meets the eye, then you might want to click away now. But if you've ever gazed at the stars and wondered about your place in this vast universe, if you've ever felt a stirring in your soul for something greater, then lean in close. This is for you. You see, in a world that's constantly shouting at us to chase after the next big thing, to climb higher, to acquire more, there's a quiet revolution happening. It's a movement of people who are waking up to the power of living with purpose, of aligning their lives with something greater than themselves. These are the ones who understand that true power doesn't come from worldly success, but from walking in faith and wisdom. But let me warn you, the path I'm about to describe isn't always easy. It requires courage to stand firm in your convictions when the world tries to sway you. It takes wisdom to discern between eternal treasures and fleeting pleasures. And it demands a willingness to guard your heart against the many temptations that life throws our way. Yet, for those who choose this path, the rewards are beyond measure. Imagine living each day with a sense of purpose so strong that it infuses everything you do with meaning. Picture yourself overcoming challenges not through your own strength alone, but through a power that surpasses human understanding. Envision a life where your actions ripple out into the world, creating positive change far beyond what you can see. This, my friends, is the journey we're about to embark on together. We'll dive into ancient wisdom that's as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. We'll explore practical ways to apply these truths in our modern lives, and we'll discover how to tap into a source of strength and guidance that never runs dry. So, if you're ready to challenge your assumptions, to dig deeper into the meaning of life and success, and to discover the transformative power of living in alignment with your highest purpose, then stick around. This message, these insights, they're for you. The chosen ones who are ready to step into a life of greater impact and fulfillment. Are you in? Let's begin this journey together. In a world full of noise and distractions, finding moments of silence and focus can be a powerful shield for your spirit. Think about it. When was the last time you truly unplugged and listened to the whispers of your heart? It's in these quiet moments that we often find our greatest strength and clarity. Now, you might be wondering, why is this so important? Well, let's dive into that. When we're constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and demands from the outside world, it becomes incredibly challenging to hear our inner voice, that guiding wisdom that connects us to our deepest truths and purpose. Imagine you're trying to have a heartfelt conversation with a dear friend in a noisy restaurant. You'd struggle to hear each other, right? That's exactly what happens to our spiritual connection when we don't create space for silence and focus. We miss out on those divine nudges and inspirations that could lead us to our true calling. But here's the thing. This message isn't for everyone. Some folks are perfectly content riding the waves of constant stimulation, and that's okay. But if you felt a tugging in your soul, a yearning for something deeper, then this might just be the wake-up call you've been waiting for. So, how can you start incorporating more focus and silence into your life? It's simpler than you might think. Start small. Maybe set aside just 5 minutes a day for quiet reflection. No phone, no TV, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts. As you get more comfortable, try extending that time. You could even explore practices like meditation or journaling to deepen your connection with your inner wisdom. Remember, protecting your spiritual well-being isn't selfish. It's essential. When you're aligned with your higher purpose, you're better equipped to serve others and make a positive impact on the world. It's like they say on airplanes, put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How do you create moments of silence and focus in your busy life? Share your tips in the comments below. Your insight could be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. As we move forward, keep in mind that this journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth is ongoing. There will be challenges along the way, but remember, it's in facing those challenges that we often find our greatest strength. Life has a funny way of testing our resolve, doesn't it? Just when we think we've got it all figured out, along comes a challenge that shakes us to our core. But here's the thing, it's in these moments that our true strength shines through. It's easy to stay true to your values when everything's smooth sailing. The real test, that comes when the waters get choppy. Think about it like this. Imagine you're building a house. You've got your foundation laid, your walls up, and everything's looking great. But then, a storm rolls in. That's when you find out if your house is truly built to last. The same goes for our character and faith. It's in the face of temptation and trials that we discover what we're really made of. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Far from it. We're bombarded daily with messages that tell us to take the easy road, to compromise our integrity for a quick win. Maybe it's cutting corners at work to get ahead, or bending the truth to avoid conflict. These little compromises might seem harmless at first, but they chip away at our spiritual foundation bit by bit. So, how do we stand firm when the world seems determined to knock us down? First off, it's crucial to know what you stand for. Take some time to really reflect on your core values. What principles are non-negotiable for you? Write them down. Revisit them often. They're your spiritual compass in stormy seas. Next, surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. You know the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. There's a lot of truth to that. Seek out friends and mentors who challenge you to be your best self, who remind you of your worth when you're tempted to settle for less. And here's a practical tip. Create a spiritual emergency kit for yourself. This could be a collection of inspirational quotes, your favorite passages from sacred texts, or even a playlist of songs that remind you of your higher purpose. When you feel your resolve weakening, turn to these resources to recharge and refocus. Remember, standing firm doesn't mean you'll never falter. We all stumble sometimes. The key is to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Each time you choose integrity over compromise, you're not just winning a small battle, you're shaping your character for the long haul. I'd love to hear from you on this. What's been your toughest moment of standing firm? How did you overcome it? Share your stories in the comments. Your experience could be the encouragement someone else needs today. As we continue on this journey together, keep in mind that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent in pursuing what's right. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the race for success. Everywhere we look, there are shiny distractions vying for our attention. The latest gadgets, fancy cars, designer clothes. And let's be real, who doesn't want a taste of the good life? But here's a question that might make you pause. What's the cost of chasing all that glitter? Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to be successful or enjoying nice things. The problem arises when we start prioritizing these worldly pursuits over our spiritual integrity. It's like trading a priceless heirloom for a handful of shiny pebbles. Sure, those pebbles might look pretty for a while, but in the long run, you've lost something far more valuable. Think about some of the most successful people you know. Are they truly happy? Do they have peace in their hearts? Or are they constantly chasing the next big thing, never quite satisfied with what they have? It's a pattern we see time and time again. People climbing the ladder of success only to find it's leaning against the wrong wall. So, what's the alternative? It's about aligning your definition of success with your spiritual values. Instead of asking, how can I get ahead? Try asking, how can I grow as a person? Or, how can I make a positive impact on others? These questions lead us down a very different path, one that's infinitely more fulfilling. Here's a practical exercise for you. Take a moment to write down your current goals. Now, next to each one, write down the motivation behind it. Is it to impress others? To feel more secure? To find happiness? Once you've done that, ask yourself how each goal aligns with your spiritual values. You might be surprised by what you discover. Does this mean you have to give up all worldly ambitions? Not at all. It's about finding balance and keeping your priorities straight. Maybe instead of aiming for that corner office, you focus on becoming a mentor to younger colleagues. Or instead of chasing a bigger paycheck, you look for ways to use your skills to serve your community. Remember, true wealth isn't measured by the size of your bank account, but by the richness of your character and the positive impact you have on others. When you prioritize your spiritual integrity, you'll find that success, real, lasting success, follows naturally. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever had to choose between worldly success and staying true to your values? How did you handle it? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could be just the inspiration someone else needs to make a tough decision. As we continue to explore these ideas, keep in mind that this journey isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every small choice to prioritize your spiritual growth over worldly gain is a step in the right direction. You know, there's an old saying that goes, "The heart wants what it wants." And while that might sound romantic, the truth is, our hearts can sometimes lead us astray if we're not careful. That's why guarding your heart isn't just a nice suggestion. It's a crucial part of living a life of purpose and integrity. Think of your heart like a garden. A well-tended garden is a beautiful thing, full of life and growth. But leave it unguarded, and what happens? Weeds creep in, pests start to take over, And before you know it, that once thriving garden is a mess. The same thing can happen to our hearts if we're not vigilant. Now, you might be wondering, what does guarding my heart actually look like in real life? Great question. It starts with being mindful of what you allow into your life. The media you consume, the people you spend time with, the thoughts you dwell on. All of these shape the state of your heart. Here's a practical tip. Try doing a heart audit at the end of each day. Ask yourself, 1. What filled my thoughts today? 2. How did my interactions with others affect my mood and mindset? 3. Did my actions align with my values? 4. What temptations did I face, and how did I handle them? This simple practice can help you spot potential intruders before they take root in your heart. Now, let's talk about temptation for a moment. We all face it, right? Whether it's the temptation to cut corners, to indulge in harmful habits, or to compromise our integrity for short-term gain. The key is to recognize these temptations for what they are, threats to our spiritual well-being. Remember the story of Samson. He was a man of incredible strength, chosen for a great purpose, but he let his guard down, allowed temptation to creep in, and it cost him dearly. The lesson here isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's about recognizing our vulnerabilities and taking steps to protect ourselves. So, how can we strengthen our defenses? Here are a few strategies. 1. Surround yourself with positive influences, people who uplift and encourage you. 2. Feed your mind with wisdom, whether that's through reading inspirational books, listening to uplifting podcasts, or studying spiritual teachings. 3. Practice gratitude. It's hard for negativity to take root when your heart is full of thankfulness. 4. Set healthy boundaries. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your values. Remember, guarding your heart isn't about building walls and shutting out the world. It's about being intentional with what you allow to influence you. It's about nurturing the good and weeding out the harmful. I'd love to hear from you on this. What strategies do you use to guard your heart? Have you ever experienced the consequences of letting your guard down? Share your stories in the comments. Your experience could be a valuable lesson for someone else. As we continue on this journey of growth and self-discovery, remember that guarding your heart is an ongoing process. It requires vigilance, but the peace and clarity it brings are worth every effort. Throughout history, stories have been one of the most powerful ways to convey deep truths and life lessons. And when it comes to timeless wisdom, the Bible is a treasure trove of tales that still resonate with us today. Let's dive into a couple of these stories and see how they apply to our modern lives. First up, let's talk about Esau. Remember him? He was the guy who traded his birthright, a pretty big deal back then, for a bowl of stew. Now, at first glance, this might seem like a ridiculous decision. Who would give up their inheritance for a meal? But let's be real. Haven't we all been there in some way? Think about it. How many times have we traded something valuable for a quick fix or instant gratification? Maybe it's skipping the gym for a Netflix binge, or blowing our savings on the latest gadget instead of investing in our future. The lesson here isn't about judging Esau. It's about recognizing those moments in our own lives when we're tempted to trade long-term blessings for short-term pleasure. Now, let's shift gears and talk about Judas. His story is a bit heavier, but it carries an important message. Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. it's easy to vilify him. But the truth is, his story is a stark reminder of how greed can corrupt even those closest to greatness. In our world today, we might not be dealing with literal pieces of silver, but the temptation to compromise our integrity for financial gain is very real. It could be fudging numbers on a report to impress the boss, or keeping quiet about unethical practices to protect our paycheck. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is recognizing when we're putting a price tag on our values. So, what can we learn from these stories? Here are a few key takeaways. First takeaway: value what truly matters. Just like Esau, we need to recognize what's truly valuable in our lives. It's not always about material possessions or immediate rewards. Second, be aware of your vulnerabilities. Judas probably didn't wake up one day and decide to betray Jesus. It likely started with small compromises that snowballed. Knowing our weak spots can help us guard against major pitfalls. Third, think long-term. Both Esau and Judas made decisions based on short-term thinking. Cultivating a long-term perspective can help us make choices we won't regret later. Lastly, seek wisdom in community. Neither Esau nor Judas seemed to consult others before making their fateful decisions. Having trusted friends or mentors to offer perspective can be invaluable. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had an Esau moment where you were tempted to trade something valuable for a quick fix? Or maybe you've witnessed a Judas situation in your workplace or community. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could help someone else recognize and avoid similar pitfalls. Remember, the point of these stories isn't to make us feel guilty or fearful. It's to equip us with wisdom so we can navigate life's challenges with integrity and purpose. As we continue on this journey together, let's keep our eyes open for the lessons hidden in the stories around us, both ancient and modern. As we come to the end of our journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful truths we've explored. We've delved into the importance of focus and silence, the strength found in standing firm in our convictions, the value of spiritual integrity over worldly success, the necessity of guarding our hearts, the timeless wisdom found in biblical stories, and the profound difference between chasing temporary gains and eternal rewards. But here's the thing: all of this knowledge, all of these insights, they're not just meant to be heard and forgotten. They're meant to be lived. They're meant to transform your life from the inside out. So, I want to challenge you. How will you apply what you've learned today? Will you carve out time for silence and reflection in your busy schedule? Will you stand firm in your values, even when it's difficult? How will you prioritize your spiritual growth over worldly temptations? What steps will you take to guard your heart against negative influences? Remember, this journey of spiritual growth and purpose-driven living isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. There will be challenges along the way. There will be times when you stumble, when you're tempted to take the easy road. But in those moments, I want you to remember this: you are chosen for a greater purpose. You have within you the power to overcome, to rise above, to make a lasting impact on this world. Now, I want to hear from you. How has this message resonated with you? What insights have you gained? What challenges do you anticipate as you strive to live out these truths? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take their next step on this journey. And if you found value in our time together, If these words have stirred something within you, I invite you to become a part of our community. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Why? Because this isn't just about one video or one message. It's about embarking on a lifelong journey of growth, purpose, and transformation. And I want you to be a part of it. Every week, we'll be diving deeper into these truths, exploring practical ways to live them out, and supporting each other as we strive to align our lives with our highest calling. This is more than just a YouTube channel. It's a movement of people committed to living lives of purpose and impact. So, are you ready to take the next step? Are you ready to move beyond just hearing these truths to truly living them out? The choice is yours. But know this: if you choose to embark on this journey, if you choose to live a life aligned with your divine purpose, you won't be walking alone. We're in this together. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, you are chosen, you are called, and you have within you the power to make a profound difference in this world. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep shining your light. The world needs what you have to offer. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.